It actually took a very tough beating to get me out of the sport.
By Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he beat the hell out of me. Manny Pacquiao would be right in front of me. He would, after hitting me 15 times, and then I would be ready to hit him, and he would be wide open, and I couldn't pull the trigger. I just couldn't pull the trigger.
Oscar, he does come back. He's coming back.
Yeah, 40 seconds. Thank you.
For the WBC title at 147.
Thank you so much.
I wish him all the best.
Quadra, I love him.
Can he do it?
Quadra?
Can he do it? Absolutely.
That's a Mexican brand.
Manny Pacquiao's
Oscar needs
he's a legend, you know.
Some nice ones. Thank you.
He's a legend. I think he can do it. Absolutely. I mean, it's not going to be easy, but I think he can do it. Yeah.
He's 46 years old and hasn't fought in almost 4 years. His last time in the ring ended in a loss. Now he's stepping back, not for a casual exhibition, but for a real world title fight. On paper, Manny Pacquiao's return seems impossible, but anyone who's followed boxing knows Pacquiao isn't just stats or headlines. He's that late-round surge, the fast fists you don't see coming, the fighter who built his legacy by going against the odds. He's taking on Mario Barrios, a WBC welterweight champ who's 13 years younger and at the top of his game. Most boxers wouldn't touch this fight. Most retired champs wouldn't even consider it. But Pacquiao didn't hesitate. He's aiming for the belt. So, when Oscar De La Hoya said Barrios should be careful, it wasn't just smack talk, it was a serious warning. This isn't just a return, it's a test of everything Pacquiao stands for. And if there's one thing history has shown us, it's this. Never count Manny Pacquiao out when he's chasing a goal. When he announced his comeback, people didn't cheer, they were stunned. He hadn't fought since 2021. He was 46, deep into his political career, and most people figured he was done. Then came the bombshell. July 19th, Las Vegas, WBC welterweight title on the line. No warm-up, no tune-up fight, just straight into the fire against a younger champion in his prime. Boxing had moved on in those 4 years. New names took over, belts changed hands, and the sport rolled forward. Pacquiao didn't train in front of cameras. He spent time with family, worked in public service, and stayed quiet. But while the world thought he was done, he was still watching. People mistook his silence for retirement. They thought the storm had passed, but Pacquiao never needed crowds to stay sharp. He didn't train for the spotlight. He trained because that's who he is. Even now, his hands are still quick, his eyes still focused, and his timing still shocks you. Every so often, a short training clip would pop up, just 15 seconds, no fancy editing, just Manny, all business. And that's when the questions started. What if he's not finished? The whispers started, then turned into rumors, and finally confirmation. He wasn't just watching, he was preparing to fight again. But this isn't about reliving old glory. This is about making a final statement. Pacquiao's already earned more than any fighter still active today. 8 division titles, fighter of the decade, a Hall of Fame spot guaranteed. And still, he's risking it all again. Why? Because greatness doesn't sleep. And one victory over a current champion could change how we look at age and excellence in boxing. The danger is real. No matter how great he is, time doesn't wait for anyone. He'll step into that ring slower. He might be less durable now, and he's definitely not riding the same momentum. But if there's one thing we've learned, it's this. Pacquiao doesn't just hang on when people count him out. That's when he shines. He's not coming back to prove anything to the crowd. He's coming back because, in his mind, the story isn't finished. He's ready to add one more chapter under the bright lights in Las Vegas. Manny Pacquiao isn't just a boxing icon, he's the stuff of legend come to life. 62 wins, 8 weight classes, 26 knockouts. He wasn't supposed to rule the featherweights, let alone the welterweights, but again and again, he shattered expectations, dominating names like Barrera, Morales, Cotto, and Thurman with footwork so fast it looked unreal. But this isn't 2010 anymore, it's 2025, and the sport doesn't care how big your name is. The last time Pacquiao fought was in 2021. He didn't look washed up, but he didn't look like the old Pacquiao either. Yadenis Yugas didn't win because he was better. He won because he was younger, sharper, and more in rhythm. Pacquiao accepted that loss with grace, but it was clear his timing was off and his reactions had slowed. So now, for years later, can he really come back looking better? Even the all-time greats slow down, Ollie, Leonard, Roy Jones Jr. You can't stop the clock, only stall it. Pacquiao's speed once made him impossible to touch. His movement was a blur. But now the real question isn't whether he was great, it's whether his speed can still win fights when his legs don't move like they used to. And it's not just about being in shape, it's about rhythm, instincts, and reaction time. Ring rust isn't just being out of breath, it's about being a fraction too late to land or defend. For years away doesn't just dull the edges, it changes how you react in every moment. And against someone like Barrios, young, sharp, and active, that's not just a tough matchup. It's dangerous. But here's where things could turn. Pacquiao never relied on raw power or youth. He wins with angles, pressure, movement, and an unpredictable rhythm. He doesn't trade punches. He overwhelms you with activity and keeps you guessing with feints and bursts. If that instinct, that sixth sense for distance and timing, is still in him, then even at 46, he might be too much for Barrios, who's never dealt with someone this tricky. Pacquiao doesn't need to be his old self. He just needs to be sharp enough, smart enough, and aggressive enough to shake Barrios, even if just for one round. And in a fight like this, one round can swing everything. Mario El Azteca, Barrios isn't just here to fill space. He's the current WBC welterweight champ with 29 wins, just 2 losses, and the kind of discipline that makes him one of the division's most focused fighters. At 30, he's hitting his prime. Tall, long reach, a strong jab, and built to go the distance. He's not flashy, but he's smart. He breaks opponents down steadily, not by chasing knockouts, but by wearing them out with non-stop pressure, smart footwork, and well-timed offense. Since stepping up to welterweight, he's become sharper, more patient, and more calculated. The wild, aggressive puncher from his super lightweight days has turned into a strategic fighter. And right now, he knows exactly who he is and what he brings to the table. He knows exactly where he wants to go. But this is unlike any fight Mario Barrios has faced. He's not up against a typical welterweight. He's facing controlled chaos. Pacquiao doesn't move like anyone else in the division. One moment he's in front of you, the next he's vanished to your blind side, throwing a 5-punch combo from an angle that shouldn't be possible. That's the danger. Barrios has never been tested by this kind of speed, pressure, and unpredictability, especially not from a man with nothing left to prove and everything left to take. Still, Barrios isn't walking into this blind. He understands the weight of the moment. He's called it an honor, but he's not here to honor Pacquiao. He's here to beat him. Because beating Manny Pacquiao isn't just about defending a title, it's about stepping into boxing history. It's how you go from being a champion to being a star. Barrios has the youth, the size, and the momentum. But none of that means anything if he can't handle what's coming. He has to walk through fire now and prove he belongs in the same sentence as Manny Pacquiao. And few know how hot that fire burns better than Oscar De La Hoya. In 2008, De La Hoya entered the ring bigger, favored, and more decorated, a 6-division world champion expected to dominate. Instead, he sat broken on the stool, unable to continue. Pacquiao didn't just beat him, he broke him down completely. So when De La Hoya warns Barrios to be careful, it's not trash talk, it's experience. He knows what it's like to face a man with no pressure, no fear, and nothing to lose. And De La Hoya isn't alone. Trainers, analysts, and veterans are saying the same thing. This fight looks like a win for Barrios, but it feels like a trap. Pacquiao doesn't train like a 46-year-old. He trains like a title contender. He doesn't step in the ring looking to survive. He fights like a hunter. And if his legs can hold up for even 6 or 7 rounds, Barrios might find himself caught in a storm he's never felt before. Then there's the mental game. Barrios may be the champion, but all eyes are on Pacquiao. This isn't just a title fight, it's a test of legacy. And legacy fights bring pressure that no training camp can prepare you for. The crowd will cheer for Pacquiao. The media will hype Pacquiao. The energy in the building will lean Pacquiao. And that's when things get heavy, when the hesitation creeps in. Even Barrios' own team isn't taking this lightly. They've made it clear, this isn't a farewell fight, this is war. Because deep down, they know if Pacquiao shows up even at 70% of his former self, this won't be a typical defense. It'll be survival. And when legends fight with nothing to lose and everything to prove, the story has a habit of flipping in ways no one expects. That's not hype. That's the voice of experience from corners that have felt it firsthand. Inside Pacquiao's camp, the mood isn't nostalgic, it's focused. No one's pretending he's the same guy who battered Margarito or outboxed Thurman. But they're not clinging to the past, they're building something new. This version of Pacquiao is built on precision, not pace, on control, not chaos. His longtime trainer boo boy, Fernandez, hasn't minced words. We're not here for a payday. We're here to win. They've dissected Barrios' rhythm, studied his jab, tracked his habits. The game plan is simple: disrupt his timing, force him to reset, and go after that long torso with the sharp combos. Pacquiao still delivers cleaner than most. This isn't about dominating for 12 rounds. It's about calculated bursts, well-set traps, and footwork that throws Barrios off balance, not off his feet. Pacquiao isn't sparring for nostalgia. He's training with younger, taller partners who mirror Barrios' frame and style. Not to relive the past, but to be ready for now. Speed isn't the main weapon anymore. Timing, conditioning, and shot selection are. He knows he won't take every round, and he doesn't have to. He just needs to land the right punches at the right time in front of the right judges. Fernandez addressed the doubters head-on. They think Manny is done. They're wrong. We're not doing this for fun. We're doing this for history. That tells you everything. They're not chasing perfection. They're chasing one clean win. And in boxing, one round can flip an entire fight. Pacquiao's team believes he's still got 3 or 4 of those great rounds left. When word broke that Pacquiao was stepping back into the ring, the internet exploded. Twitter, YouTube, forums, everyone had an opinion. Some fans were thrilled. Others were stunned. Many were concerned. His global fan base, especially in the Philippines, immediately rallied, calling this his final shot at greatness. But the critics were just as loud, calling it dangerous, too old, too risky. Because Barrios isn't some part-time fighter. The reactions split fast, and that divide between belief and doubt is what's fueling the hype. It's rare for a comeback fight to create this much buzz without trash talk or controversy. No press conference drama, no flying chairs, just a clean, dangerous matchup between a legend chasing one last crown and a champion defending his era. And the boxing world feels it. Hardcore fans are analyzing every training clip. Casual viewers who haven't tuned in for years have circled July 19th on the calendar. Because whether you think Pacquiao wins or gets stopped in the 4th, you're watching. That's the power of Pacquiao. He brings hope, nostalgia, and danger all in one. And Barrios knows the crowd won't be neutral. He's not just facing a fighter, he's facing a moment. And if Pacquiao pulls it off, if he beats Mario Barrios, this won't just be a comeback. It'll be a shockwave. He wouldn't just be back. He'd become the oldest man ever to win the WBC welterweight title. A 46-year-old champion in a weight class built to chew up young lions. Comebacks aren't new in boxing, but they're usually exhibitions, not real title fights. Pacquiao isn't chasing nostalgia, he's chasing a belt. And if he wins, the entire welterweight division gets flipped. So, what happens if he pulls it off? The rankings go sideways. Barrios, the newly crowned champ, would lose his title to a semi-retired legend. And suddenly, guys like Boots Ennis, Virgil Ortiz Jr., even Crawford and Spence, fans will be calling for them to step up. Because if Pacquiao wins, this won't be a one-off. If Pacquiao wins on fight night, this won't just be a comeback, it'll spark a full-on campaign. And then there's the story it sets up. A rematch with Yugas? Maybe even quiet whispers of Mayweather 2. The hype machine would go into overdrive, because the only way to follow a historic return is with an even bigger moment. But let's be honest, this isn't just about belts or pay-per-view sales. If Pacquiao pulls this off, it sends a message to every fighter over 35 who's been told to hang it up. It proves that skill, experience, and heart can still flip the script. And most of all, it's about legacy. He's already in the Hall of Fame. Already a global icon. But this kind of win doesn't just add to his resume, it redefines what's possible in the sport. We talk about Brady winning late, LeBron aging like fine wine. But this would be boxing's greatest age-defying moment. That's the dream, but the risk is massive. If everything aligns on July 19th, Pacquiao won't just win a fight, he'll steal back time and carve his name even deeper into boxing history. So, should Barrios be worried? On paper, he checks every box. Youth, height, momentum, the belt. But paper doesn't fight. Pressure does. And that's what Barrios is about to feel more than ever. He's not just defending a title, he's doing it against a legend in front of a crowd that will roar every time Pacquiao lands. Even if Barrios is winning, one clean flurry can flip the energy. That's the kind of pressure you can't train for. Barrios isn't clueless. He knows what's at stake. This is high risk, high reward. If he beats Pacquiao, he doesn't just keep his title, he becomes a star. But if he hesitates, if the moment feels too big, Pacquiao will see it and strike. Because no matter how old he is, the one thing Manny never lost is his timing. Then there's the weight of expectation. Barrios is supposed to win. He's expected to close the chapter on a legend. And when everyone expects dominance, you don't get praise for barely edging out a win, just criticism if you don't deliver. So, yes, Barrios should be concerned. Not because Pacquiao is the same man he once was, but because one sharp combo, one perfect counter, one flash of the old Pac-Man is still enough to change everything. Barrios isn't just fighting the man in front of him, he's up against the myth behind him, the legacy, the history. And that's what makes this so dangerous. July 19th isn't just a date, it's not just Pacquiao versus Barrios. It's legacy versus momentum. Old school versus the new wave. A warning to anyone who thinks greatness fades quietly. Pacquiao didn't return for applause. He came back to prove that true champions never really retire. They just wait for the right moment. So here's the real question. Is Barrios ready for that moment? Or is he walking straight into the same storm that swallowed so many before him?